Now, I hope the actor Woody Harrelson, just cause, again, he's wearing hair or something, I don't know the details, in the movie Venom, Carnage and all that, ain't messing with me about my hair cause of his hair issues either. Would you, Woody? Am I addressing you personally? Right? No. But if someone thinks I am, right, they're butting into my personal business and yours. Now, again, I know the story of Venom from the comic books, idiot. And I've read all the comic books during the 80s at least, right? And I get the gist of how you do your action-packed comic books, right? Now, nothing you do would surprise me in the movie. At all. But that's like with the comic book, right? You are wanting to read it to see what comes next. Not that you can't guess, and even guess right half the time. Now, if they bring back Ben Kenobi and they bring back Yoda and they have Kylo Ren kill his own father, you don't think they're going to bring him back to convert his son to the Force and the light side? Of course they are. It's obvious. Unless you're just playing dumbass of the year and don't want to see it or blocking yourself from seeing it, which is the only obviously sound answer you can think of. And Han is believing in the Force at the end too, right? It's all really saying, right? Once he did that, whatever Force we're involved with knows he needed to see his father one more time, right? That even though he killed him, physically, his spirit lives on, right? As with Ben and Yoda's, right? That's what it's about as well. Mm-hmm. But often the living can't see the dead, even if they pretend to, right? Now, how does the Witch of Endor even know about Samuel? Every witch knows about Samuel in Israel, idiot. He's one of their enemies. And of course she knows his appearance, right? When she's describing it to Saul. Mm-hmm. But is she actually seeing him or not, right? I'm not saying, that if God opens your eyes to the spirit world like Ezekiel, Elijah's servant, right, that you can't see things in the spirit world either, right? But if you describe them to a carnal man, he's going to say you're batshit, right? Right? That's what I mean, right? I'm just trying to describe things they were saying in the Gnostic Gospels, which anyone can actually read what they said, right? But they don't even want to read it to find out they're wrong, right? And that it was really sex, the fruit of Satan's body, that they weren't supposed to eat of, not just a fruit tree in the garden among the 25 fruit trees on the earth that could have been in the garden, right? And that's what I mean, right? Also, we probably have the same trees that they had in Eden, including the pine tree, the oak tree. Some trees don't even bring forth fruit for a human to eat. And of course, you got the berries, but now certain berries will kill you if you eat them, right? And you will die in the day you eat thereof of the berries, right? Right? So whether it was a fruit tree, the fruit of Satan's body, right, or a little of both, that prophecy came true that man will die in the day they eat of certain fruits from a fruit tree, or berries from a fruit tree, which is part of the reproductive cycle for berry trees, or berry plants, right? But it's certain berries only birds can eat, I guess, right? I know, right? I know that. Now, I grew up on the comic side, right? Now, even with the symbiote and Spider-Man, who became Venom with Eddie Brock, I know the whole story. And it's a little similar, a little different than Spider-Man 3, right? With Tobey Maguire still, right? As the main character. Now, the problem is, though, right, the new Spider-Man's coming out, too, which is Spider-Man 3 for Tom, right? the other Tom. Now, you got Tom Hardy playing Venom, right? But they're totally separating the characters, right? Away from the Spider-Man comic, right? And they're making Venom the anti-hero, right? Of all his alien counterparts, right? In both movies, right? Now, was I surprised at anything that happened in Venom Carnage? No, not at all. I expected it all to go down exactly as it went down, and I knew it would end, even when it didn't end. And that there would be a little bit more to the story. I know. It's not over yet. I said, when it looked like it was about to close, right? I know, but it didn't. There was a pretty girl sitting next to me, but the thing is, we're both watching the movie, right? And I got up in front of her and was walking so I wouldn't interrupt her view, right? Now, I don't recognize her as anything but a nice-looking young lady, right? Now, the reason I'm walking slowly is the legs and stuff is kind of hurting, and I'm bracing myself, right? Because my cane's in the car, right? Right. But I guarantee you, everything that happened, I knew would happen subconsciously. And seeing the movie just affirmed what I already knew was probably going to happen, right? But only after the movie, right, did I know it was exactly how you would expect it to be if you were again to do the same thing with the Venom character from Spider-Man. And see, it's interesting how he got his own symbiote, but I'll leave that for you to watch in the movie, right? I figured something like that might could happen, but it's kind of science fiction-y too, right? Even what they're suggesting, right? Right. You have to watch the movie. I'm not going to give away any major details. You never do that, right? Even if you know an idea of it with an asexual organism, like I was saying, right? A symbiote is kind of an asexual organism, right? Though a true asexual organism simply divides into two, right? Through consuming something, right? Or something consuming it. Think about what I said and go watch the movie and see if I'm right? I know. Now, I'm hinting at it. No, you're hinting at it. Before the movie aired, or I saw the movie today, right? But I'm not saying it, and it's not Woody Harrelson's fault. Okay, even if he's wearing a wig or not. I don't know the man personally. If he didn't use Rogaine or whatever, I don't know that either, right? But I damn sure ain't picking on Woody Harrelson because he has hair in the movie. Hope he ain't thinking that I am either. I'm in Georgia, man. Are you saying I'm a psychic? I'm not even around your set unless you're shooting it in Georgia. And even then, I don't know your locations in Georgia, right? I know there's a Tyler Perry studio in Atlanta, but I'm in Savannah. That's a 4-hour drive away, which is over 250 miles, right? By the way, too. Now, they say the prophets of Israel, though, could kind of hear one another, even though they were miles apart. And if they were on the same page, right? And it's like they could tell when something wasn't truly of the Lord, and the kings wanted to do it anyway. And most of them got pretty much jacked for telling them what they did wrong or what they was going to do was wrong. Right. Now, like I said, Nathan's the only prophet who did that to King David and escaped a punishment for that. Because David is using Nathan to confess his own sin, right? And doesn't the story sound like something the shepherd King David would make up? Talking about a farmer who had a ewe lamb who was precious and dear to him? Or do you think Nathan is just using that because David would relate to it, being that he was a shepherd? I know. He did tend the sheep and the flock. Right. And he does know how precious a ewe lamb is compared to the male. Now, even though the female was offered in certain sin situations, right, in the sins that you sin ignorantly about, and to cover touching something dead, right, and it includes the red heifer sacrifice for that act too, right, which the red heifer is to purify it, right, the area touched or the area the dead occupied, right. It's kind of like you're making some kind of super soap or something, right, to clean the area with the red heifer sacrifice. But then there's a lamb or a ewe lamb for, say it's a dead animal carcass, right? Or something not as bad as a human, right? See, the red heifer is about a human dying, right? Lesser animals, and like the lion Samson touched, could be, right? And that would be not allowed either. A major sin for his mother and father to commit by eating the honey, that the bees made in the carcass of a lion. That would be a big no-no, right? Yes, it would. And it would be a sin that they're sinning ignorantly, right? Which requires a female for the common people and a ram for a prince or, again, someone who's from royalty, right? And usually it's the common people who have to sacrifice the female, because usually they're only lucky enough to have a female rather than a male animal. And that's why David and Nathan and the parable he related to him sounds like something that him and Nathan could come up with together to show what happened with Bathsheba, right? Because everybody in the palace knows that she was naked and David saw her and sent for her, right? And then she turned up pregnant and he sent for Uriah, and then he didn't sleep with her, and then she's still pregnant, right? Everybody knows what's going on. They knew something was going on. But they played dumb to the king. Yeah, I know. He's the one you gotta play dumb to. I don't know what's going on, king. I don't know you sit for Bathsheba in the middle of the night. I didn't know she was bathing naked where only you could see her from your balcony. No. Right, I didn't know nothing about that. Nobody knew but Nathan. Nobody knew but Nathan either. Sure. And the poor man's been out to battle maybe a month, right? Think about the timeline. When was the baby born? And was it born a little early? Okay, 2. But was it underweight or something? And it's a little confusing to David, to where he's not sure if the child's his or not, or Uriah's. And what he's doing is tempting Uriah by putting him in the hottest part of the battle to see if he can fight his way out like David had to, right? You want my throne, okay. Well, to get my throne, motherfucker, this is what they was saying in modern language, right? Okay, right. You gotta prove you can fight your way out of a desperate situation. And that's why he told them, put Uriah in the hottest part of the battle and withdraw and see if he can find his way out of it, right? That's a fair thing for King David to do if you want his damn throne. See, Christian Fellowship Church was acting like David did something wrong when really he's testing Uriah if he wants his damn throne. Are you worthy of it, motherfucker? You know what I mean? You want my throne? Fine. Fight your way out of the hottest part of the battle. Like I had to do. I had to fight my way through Saul's kingdom, right? Tooth and nail, through the other kingdoms of Israel, through the Philistines, through the... So you want my throne? Here, take it. But you got to fight your way out like I did to get it. If you can't do it, you're not worthy. You're not worthy of my throne, motherfucker. Right. And fuck you and your crazy wife for trying to seduce me in the first place. Like I can't get no pussy anymore either. Don't you think that's what he's saying too? Like he needed that bitch to give him some pussy when he had 10 virgins in Jerusalem and 6 other women. Well, I need some pussy too. That your wife has to bear her beautiful naked body to me. And I send for her and she sleeps with me and she gets pregnant right away. And I don't think that's suspicious. Now, you're not looking at it as a king, though. If you're judging David, right? You're looking at it as a common man, right? What, right? And to you, all that's evil, but not to David, right? Sin is also in the eye of the beholder, right? Who do you think was really the one done wrong there? Uriah and Bathsheba or David? David. Now, if Bathsheba is doing this on her own, someone who's an enemy of David still could be putting her up to it, right? Because what wound up happening is Absalom, his own son, slept with the 10 virgins of Jerusalem. Right. And that's because they think David's all about sex. No, he's not. He's trying to protect his throne, right? But the man who wanted his throne, right, his own wife is part of some kind of scandal, maybe, to put another child on the throne. And he's not sure what Bathsheba is even up to, right? But he's got to deal with it either way. And I don't think David had to twist her arm when he sent for her and they just started going at it right away. Did he? She knew why he sent for her. She knew he would see her. And he's testing if she wanted to have sex with him himself, right? And obviously she did. But then when you get pregnant right away, of course the king's going to wonder what's going on there. That's like being Marybelle, for example. If she got pregnant, she's the one acting all crazy about it. I don't know what happened, right? Or even how it happened, right? But all I can do is go over what I was doing versus what she was doing, right? And say, I don't have a problem if he's fine, right? But you're the one acting like you had a problem if he's not, right? Not me. I can believe you over Daphne too, even though yours was 2 weeks late too, because your own birth control helps, right? And that's going to throw off the timing of when you got pregnant within at least 2 weeks. Because he's not conceived like a normal child, right? If you're on birth control pills, right? If everything she's telling me is true and she's a female, right? All I can figure out is what might have happened, right? I don't know. But I'm also telling her how she made me feel like she wanted me to teach in her bark more than me anyway. And I just got fed up with feeling that way, right? So finally I said, well, y'all can have her back, damn. This girl don't seem to want me at all, right? And that's how she's making me feel, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you want it, here it is. Come and get it. Right. I don't hide myself in secret places. And like I said, after that, before that, I went to the other house, had breakfast. About an hour. Again, a little less. But the food got to me right away, and I'm eating it, right? I guess within a normal amount of time, right? So it's 40 minutes when I'm getting out. There's that, right? Because I get there around a little bit around 10:30, and I leave a little bit around about 20 after 11. So that's about 40, 50 minutes. Now, I remember eating the food, which is bacon, eggs, grits, which I eat the bacon and grits first, right? And of course, you take a bite, right? And whatever time it takes, right? To eat all that. Maybe, say, 3 minutes for the bacon, 5 minutes for the grits, right? Then I cut up the eggs, right? Put a little salt and pepper on both, right? The eggs, grits, and the hash browns, right? So I start with the grits, go and bacon, right? First. That's about 8 minutes, right? Then the cut up the eggs and put salt and pepper on those, right? And I eat the eggs, right? But then I sop, right, up the yolk, right, with the toast. Now today I had Texas toast instead of regular toast, right? Don't know why, that's fine, right? But the difference is you get 4 pieces of regular toast and 2 pieces of, or 1 piece of Texas toast, right? That's fine. And then after that, I eat the hash browns, right? That takes maybe another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? And then, of course, what's left is the waffle, right? So that's another maybe 10 minutes, right? 20 minutes, right? Which would be the longest thing it takes to eat. Because, see, I eat my waffle bite by bite, starting with the center corner edge, right? The right or left, eat it as well. Meaning I start with the round part and make it square. But not a triangle yet. Now, can you fly through space if you're a square, ball, or triangle? Maybe. But what will be the most difficult to spin on its axis? A triangle, right? Now, we're already rumored to be on a planet that may have had a flat, squarish surface. Maybe rounded at the corners. See? Because some people used to believe the Earth was flat. Why do you think that is, and how can that be? Is it impossible for a square to be made into a circle if it's rounded on the corners, so you don't sell off? See, if it's a sharp corner, you're going to have the difficulty in selling around the planet. But if it's curved at the edges, right, made by God squarish, where parts of it are flat and parts of it are or an arc, right, on all 4 corners around the whole globe, right? Could that be made into a circle in about the same time as the flood happened? Right? And also, even in the days of Peleg, they believed the Earth was one continent. Either that or the people only lived on the one continent located in Central Middle East. To Africa, right. Up into Europe and out into Asia and India. That was where we were centralized, dumbass. Right. The first humans started appearing there. Not over here till later. Even the people who crossed the Bering Straits were from here. I don't know. Or there. You know what I mean? Right. They came over on a land bridge between Russia and Alaska when the Earth was still what? Cold. Now we're heating it up. The problem with heating something up and melting ice is you create more condensation either way. No. Are you listening? See, if you melt ice, it causes condensation on your glass when you're drinking iced water. Why does that happen? Because the temperature around the cup and the ice forms water molecules outside the cup. And as the cup is melting the ice, water forms on the outside of the cup. Because there's still water vapor in the air. Mm-hmm. Now, that's going to make the water levels higher and more rain. Also, because of what? Condensation. Also, when something gets hotter, it makes more clouds in the sky. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't know the history of America before the Europeans, baby making machines they are, took over America from the Indians. Cool people who reproduce moderately. So you know what the Europeans did? They out-fucked the Indians and fucked them out of their country. Sorry I had to say that. You know what I mean, Native Americans. They fucked you over two ways. They out-fucked your tribes and they out... overpopulated the country. Like it was that, maybe. I know. And see, they out-fucked the Indians and they fucked them over. But... I know. And you know what I mean. I know what you mean. Now, can you handle the truth? Or, like Jack said, you can't handle the truth. Can you? Right.